Hello, my name's Tom Cahill, and it's Wednesday the 8th of October 2014. I'm making a quick video here, and it will be quite quick. And what it's doing is it's dealing with the ex-COINTELPRO agent Chris Spivey. Now, it came to my attention that he's blocked Thailand from his site, so anyone trying to access his site from Thailand can't get on it, because there's a guy who used to often contribute on it, actually made very good points, and he was from Thailand, or sorry, he was living in Thailand. I think he's British, he was living in Thailand, and he can't get onto the site right now. I've always been able to get onto his site when I've wanted to, because I thought that there was some kind of tomfoolery going on with the Google rankings. So what he would do is he would take it off Google somehow, because there's lots of ways you can do that, you see, and then he can tell everybody that it's been taken down when in fact it hasn't really been taken down. Do you see what I mean? And it makes a big load of commotion without him actually having to do anything, apart from, you know, the way when you sabotage a website, one of the things you can do is you can take it off Google. So you can make it invisible, or so I'm told. I don't think I've ever done it, but anyway, I don't know why I would want to do it. You know, it's normally the thing you'd want to do against something else, one of your enemies, sort of thing, or somebody who's causing you a bit of a problem. But anyway, this is the thing. He's posted this video, and it's called Chris Arrest. Right now, this has been posted on a YouTube channel, which is YOUTYPE space total crap. So it's YOUTYPETOTALCRAP with a space between U-type and total crap, which are both like a combination of two words stuck together in each instance. Right, so hopefully that was clear enough. Right now, the thing is, that is up on YouTube at http://YOU.be/PQPY capital Q 0H capital S capital W 80, right? And that was put up on the 6th of October, which is 2 days ago, 2014, right? Now, this is the thing. Underneath there, it says the illegal arrest of Chris Spivey, part 2, right? Now, I've looked on the actual, you know, this YouTube U-type space total crap, and it's only got this one up there. Now, what I think's happened is Spivey's got the kind of impetus to put some kind of another bullshit story up about him getting arrested, but, you know, then he might not get arrested. It's all really, it kind of doesn't really matter what happens. He's just put something up to start trying to get more donations in, and all of the retarded people who are still supporting him. But unbelievably, there's only 12 comments on it that I can see, or the top comments maybe. Give me a second, maybe there's more. And it seems 12 comments, which doesn't seem enough. There's only something very suspect about that. And basically what he's done is they're all going, oh no, it's a police state, it's Nazis, it's this, the non-squad, the pig or pigs, ... what the fuck, blah 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 blah. Now, what it shows on this little video, which is only 49 seconds long, is Chris staggering about the place inside a house that has got like what can clearly be seen as a kind of internal type door, that's not got anything much in the way of latches and stuff on it, and he's stuck like a kind of coffee table, not coffee table, but kind of table, like bedside table type size table, maybe a coffee table with the flaps down on the side, that kind of size table, not very big, not even up to waist height, you know, the type of thing I mean. He stuck that in front of this door, and it's going, you want to enter in illegally, and he's like obviously in total torment. Now, this is the thing with Spivey. I'm not saying that Spivey isn't totally a con man. He's not a liar, and he's not, and he's a cheat, and he's you know, bad news. But the point is, he's genuinely really tormented. So you see, you've got to remember that, as quite a few people say, and as somebody he often endorses says, Greg Hallett, they like to have their agents in a situation where they're under constant torment, so they can use them for anything. They don't have any money, or they don't have any money they can kind of bank on, and I use that in a kind of colloquial term. I mean, like, they might have 10 grand in the bank one month, but they're not going to necessarily ever going to get another 10 grand in their whole life, so they have to basically do what they're told. So what's happened is, you've got this Spivey, and he's he's getting his daughter to film this thing, but it's only on for a few seconds right now. So why have they only put up part 2, and then why after that haven't they put more stuff? You know, like, haven't they put the other bit up? Because you've got to remember that she's just like quite clearly like a. I mean, I'm not saying this to be nasty or disrespectful to her, but she's your typical British teenager. She looks like one. She's got all scummy tattoos all over her, and she's just like a complete. You know, she's one of these kind of people. You know, she's just she's the very epitome of the degradation of the British society, where all the children are getting like disgusting tattoos all over them, and they're all mobile phone fanatics. So the nearest thing she's got to a profession would be using a mobile phone. So, and she'd probably be really happy that I said the fact that she would never be accidentally pressing the stop button on the mobile phone. And if she'd done it once, let's say for part 1, they'd still put part 1 up, but she's sure you can bet your eggs is eggs she wouldn't do it for the second part, and then she wouldn't, you know, maybe she's lost it by accident, fumbling it, she just dropped on the floor. These phones can do that, but then she would hardly then have managed to save the second part and not the third part. It doesn't make sense. Now that video definitely doesn't show anyone being arrested. You can hear a woman's voice speaking in a soft voice to sort of say, oh, can you let us in, or something like that, but there's absolutely no evidence from that there's even any police involved. Now, I'm not making any comment on whether they are or they aren't, but you see, the fact is that Spivey is clearly compromised, controlled. He's not in control. He's being controlled. He's not in control of anything. He's obviously in a state of high torment, so he could actually say he's not really, you know, to his normal faculty anyway. And he's just panicking and dashing about the place. Now, there's something that I think a lot of you might like to look up, and that thing, right? Yeah, look, just give me a second. I'll just click on this. You type total crap, right? I'll just type on it here, right? You have a look here. Look, you type total crap. Chris arrest by you type total crap 1 day ago. 5,835 views. Yet only 12 comments. That's incredibly unusual because he has a very high comment ratio to what views. So just to recap. That's 1 day ago, and it's 5,835 views with only 12 comments. So obviously they're taking them down. I would conclude they're taking them down. Right, now if I click on videos, you've got Jihadi John and Chris arrest. So there isn't any other ones. There isn't any other ones on there. And also, weirdly, it's only been up for 3 weeks, this channel. So I'd presume it's been set up. I haven't looked at Jihadi John, what that's about. But I think we can quite safely, and now there's another one, we like the video about Tory scum. All of these videos that have gone up, I think they're probably put up by proxies of his, using their many identities that they use, because they're constantly sticking numerous things up to give them kind of force multiplier type effects, right? So, and you know, obviously they do this thing which they call trolling, which is where they just constantly make comments on everything that somebody does all the time. And they're not just watching the video once and then getting back to comments about their comment. They're just putting the exact same thing, like, are you gay, or are you queer? Sorry, are you queer? And they just keep putting it on a video, and then on another video, then on another video, and they just keep doing it, and keep doing it, and keep doing it. Now, they call this trolling, but they always accuse other people of doing it. Now, only people who can't explain themselves would use such a ridiculous expression, and it's typical for all these Jewish subversives and their little sidekicks like Michael Dougherty, Ian Puddick, all these people. They always call things trolling. Right now, it's just a ridiculous expression. And Dave Knight from the Duck Shoot, they use this expression, but they don't realise that the only people who ever use this expression is them, because they can't answer the questions. And then that's what they do all the time. So in their reality, it does exist. In a normal person's reality, the word would make them cringe because it sounds childish and stupid and inexplanatory of what you're trying to accuse someone of. And, you know, you've got to remember that these people do as standard accuse people of being paedophiles who ask them questions, say they must be gay while saying they like gays and supporting Peter Tatchell. They're complete freaks. And this little low-life world they live in is the only place where that kind of vocabulary has any purchasing power, if you use that, if you use the expression. Right now, this is the more disgusting thing I've come up with. Right, I wish I had it here, but I don't. I'm going to put it up. Don't worry. if you look, somebody showed me Chris's chavvy girlfriend, chavvy daughter's Facebook or something, and she's got pictures of herself right now. He's also put up a profile of himself for sort of like dating reasons or something a little while ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and he states that he wants to be famous at all costs, and that he likes thin women who aren't very old. And he goes on, look at his tattoos, and his tattoos, these are the tattoos that he's done. They're shit tattoos. He is shit at tattoos. It's very difficult to do tattoos all the time and be that shit, but I'm sure he does them because there is a consistent thread, and I am qualified, I would have to say that, because I'm highly proficient at all things art and crafty, you know, I'm good at that type of stuff. So, but anyway, this is the point. So you've got this U-type total crap video right now. We'll just put it on. See, look, he's moving around now. If you look here, right, that there isn't what I'd call a normal, conventional looking front door. That is nothing that would stop anything. Then he's putting a little, what is it, a teapot or something on top of another little silly box. It's going to do nothing, absolutely nothing. Right now, if he's really scared of the police harassing him, he'd have bits of wood that he'd measured that he could stick against the stud partition supports here, and it could easily stop them getting in. But that is not a proper lock. That's not a proper lock. They're like very small locks for an internal door. The dogs, if you notice, are wandering around wagging their tails. Now, dogs don't do that unless they're used to him acting in an erratic, oddball manner, which he is acting in. Yeah, so you see the way he's acting isn't getting the dogs all excited. You can actually hear his daughter in the background saying something about filming it. Now, what the fuck's he gone and done going into the bathroom if he thinks people are trying to break into his house? It's like he's got bored of it and he's just decided he's going to let them in because he's stuck a coffee table in the way and like, fuck me, if I can't do anything more, you know, I've done everything I possibly can. It doesn't make any sense. This is all showing a highly irrational character. Right now, anyway, back to these tattoos. These tattoos that he's got, they're all shit. He's got one called something like opportunity. He's got this one guy's got it across his back. It's a really shit tattoo. It's something like opportunity is always around the corner or something. Opportunity, or it's not opportunity, it's a word like that. And basically it requires an apostrophe before the S. But Spivey's left it off. He always leaves it off because he's a fuckwit, right? That's why no one from England who's his age. I understand they don't teach you it properly at schools, but he should have worked out about apostrophes now. He hasn't at all. And the thing is, and this is a really horrible thing now, excuse me, but I can't remember now off the top of my head whether it says Daddy's Girl with a apostrophe or not. I don't think it does. His daughter has got a tattoo that she's put on a Facebook page saying Daddy's Girl. Now, it's in the same shitty tattoo style that he does, right? So he's tattooed on his daughter, who lives alone in the house with him, Daddy's Girl. Now, I mean, short of finding a dungeon in his house and finding another of his daughters down in it, I think there's something incredibly suspect here, and I've run it by a few people, and I say, I mean, I've come across a few paedophile families in the past. I've said to people, they're paedophiles, they're incest family, and people go, no, nonsense, nonsense, nonsense. I wouldn't do it unless I was absolutely sure. Obviously, I could be wrong, but I'm not saying he is one, but this is highly indicative of that kind of creepy, low-life person they've got a hold over. Now, as you know, the police, when it comes to getting information and stuff like that, they don't really care where they get it from. They don't care what the ramifications of it are. They don't want a police informant to get shot dead or actually physically killed because they care about that because it makes them look bad. But, you know, like the amount of psychological damage and taking advantage of horrible, disgusting situations are a lot worse. That doesn't bother them. So I think that he's possibly an informant, but what I'd say, you know, he might be on the informant's budget but not actually informing on people. I'm absolutely sure that Spivey has been in prison, or he hasn't been in prison, but there's been something like that. Probably he's possibly been in care, I think. If you look on one of his videos, he had pictures, not videos, on one of his website pieces, he had pictures. This is just when he realised that I'd flushed him. He had these pieces up, and he had these pictures, and he was going, I've got actually more children. I've got like another 4 children or something, and they got 5 grandchildren. None of them have been to prison. They're all married and haven't been divorced. And he had these pictures of like nursing certificates and stuff like that up on the wall. And I thought, hang on a minute, why would he have them on his wall? Now, probably I think it's because he's been estranged from them. You know, and it's the kind of passive thing you can give to somebody who you're not really seeing to just sort of, you know, like it's kind of like a nice gesture. But I reckon there's a good reason. Is because he's either not allowed to see them because of him, it's a him-based problem, or he's not allowed to see them because he was in prison for a long time or something like that, and so he just couldn't see them, and therefore that's the kind of thing you might give to your dad if he was in prison, to go, look, there you go, Dad, I'm a nurse now, I told you I'd do it, aren't you proud? And he could put it in the prison, and it'd just be something, it'd mean a lot to him probably there. And then when you left prison, you're hardly going to give it back to them, are you? So that's my theory about those. As I said, I have no particular interest in whether, if I turn out to be wrong. These are just speculative points, this is speculation, but as I said, it's not based on nothing. Now, this is the other thing, right? Spivey said once in one of his articles, he said, as I've said in numerous articles, I maintain that any person, any man who wants to look after little children, primary school children, as a primary school teacher, is to be regarded with the utmost suspicion. Also, he said that Cub Scouts leaders are, very, very, very suspect, and he can't understand why anyone would want to do it. Now, obviously, we can extend this to anything where you've got access to children, I suppose. But the point is, he's saying the statistics prove it on Cub Scouts. Look it up. Now, obviously, you're going to find more paedophiles doing stuff like that because they're going to be aiming for these situations. That's obvious. That's obvious. You don't need to be really apply much science to come up with that conclusion. But the point is, you can't go around assuming people are because they do it. That's ridiculous, right? Just like if somebody's gay, they might be a lot more likely to abuse children, but just because they're gay doesn't mean they are going to abuse children. Do you know what I mean? It's the same kind of thing. It wouldn't be right to say that. Most of us realise it's not the case. But the point is with him is that he's also said that the royal family are definitely paedophiles, and one of the bits of evidence he uses, right now, I'm not saying they are or they aren't, but you see, he's doing a very good job, excuse me, of giving them a very easy out. In that one of the things he's done is he's shown pictures of like toddlers, I forget which royal it is, sitting on somebody's knee or across their legs when they're sitting with their bum on the floor and their legs out in front of them or slightly crossed round, I forget. And you know the way little children don't have as big a shoulder development, so what often happens is their arms reach round the back of themselves and they stick their arm behind them. Often babies stick their arms behind them in a way that adults don't generally do, because generally adults, well, for a start off, adults are often sitting at tables and stuff. They've got places to put their arm and rest the top part of their weight, whereas a baby's got a curvier back and they can stick their arms and their hands. They can often like lean in a kind of what would be an uncomfortable and unrealistic position for an adult. And if a baby has got his hand near your kind of crotch, right, and especially if you're wearing trousers, you could have a big rock on your trousers for a start off. There's a lot of rock, especially if you're wearing jeans or proper trousers or shorts or something. The idea that you're going to go around like constantly moving the little baby's hand, because I don't think you can't say someone's a paedophile because some little kid who's sitting on their crotch area is touching their knob or might be nearly touching their knob. It's quite ridiculous, right? Now, all of that stuff I say is quite ridiculous unless you are a paedophile, right? And if you are a paedophile, passive paedophile who doesn't do it, or you're an active one, this whole thing is absolutely very, very suspect, right? Because this is the point. If you don't see children as a sexual thing, which normal people don't, I can assure you, they can do any of these things. You wouldn't even notice it because they're a little kid. Do you see what I mean? And they're unaware of these things, and you'd be unaware because you're not paying attention. Because do you see what I'm trying to say? It's like saying having a piss is a sexual thing because it involves your knob. It's not a sexual thing, and therefore it's invalid what he's saying. Yet if you are a creepy paedophile, then you are, whether you are like, because there's probably a range, and there's probably people who aren't paedophiles, but they're more aware of it because they think like that. You're the kind of person who'd think, if a little kid sticks their hand on your knob, that must mean they want to like get your knob out and play with it. Now, they might well want to get it out and play with it because they don't know what it is, or they're just interested. But it doesn't make it a sexual thing. Now, you see, this is the same kind of thing that a paedophile would say and use it as justification that the little kids consented to some kind of sex act. So you see, in his like absolute revulsion or alleged revulsion at paedophilia, he drops himself in it quite badly. And again, there's absolutely, I mean, his tattoos, like, I mean, a lot of people say tattoos are self-harm. I'm not so sure. Maybe they are. I think to an extent it's a very valid point to a point in certain instances anyway. But his tattoos are so shit, they are self-harm. There's no question of it. They look shit. They're just a mess, right? Now, to get your daughter to have daddy's girl written on her, I mean, I don't need to have a daughter to know that I wouldn't want them getting that written on them. It would sicken me. And to think he's actually sat there in his dirty little fucking squalid flat with all the dog smell everywhere and the cigarettes, and he's there, I don't know where, it's on her back or something, sticking needles into his daughter's back and writing daddy's girl on her. That's very sick. It is sick. As I said, unfortunately, I think he is a complete sicko. I'm absolutely sure he's under control from various different angles. I think he's, I mean, the very, very bizarre video that he took down off the CSC Rochford computer store shop that's registered at his flat, that had this kind of bit of waste ground, and it was just like called the Secret Garden with some kind of like exclamation marks, or inverted commas on it. I mean, to me that looked like a dogging site, because there was 2 bits of blue plastic involved, right? There was a bin right the size of a normal standard refuse bin, blue, and there was a blue plastic chair, the type of, the ones that you can stack on top of each other and don't take up much space. And what the chair only was sort of upside down, and it had only 3 legs on it. And then the bin didn't have a bottom in it, because that's been punched out. I'll go out on a limb here, right? I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But to me, that looks like a dogging location. It looks like the kind of creepy place you'd go and do disgusting sex act if you're a complete low-life, depraved pervert like him. And that's why they called it Secret Garden and put it up on the internet, because he gets a sexual thrill out of it. A lot of people have told me in the past that when people talk about anything to do with sex and sex abuse and perversion, it's a very big indicator that they are a pervert, especially if you focus on how they're describing it, as opposed to that there's ways and means of raising a subject, and there's ways and means of not doing it, and it's indicative of what their real motivations are. Now, with Spivey, there's these numerous instances of creepy behaviour and things that don't quite add up, and then you've got the fact that he is a total liar. He constantly gets caught lying and contradicting himself. That I think that type of personality, who can't really delve in the realms of reality too strictly, because he's always having to contradict himself and go back and change his stories, like about getting arrested, saying he didn't numerous times. When it's recorded in third-party media, so he's got it recorded at least 3 times on different radio shows, sympathetic to him, not that they were grilling him for that information, and then he's denying it, and then after saying that he's reported it to the press standards because they said he got arrested when he didn't, he's then saying he didn't, and then he's saying, oh, the Sun said I didn't, and he's always saying the Sun lies, and then, no, sorry, the Sun said I did, so I must have done. And it's like, but you say the Sun lies all the time, every day. So he's he doesn't have a clue what he's talking about. He just contradicts himself. He's totally inconsistent. He's just a total mess. Anyway, that's just something I'm interested in right now. The reason I'm doing this video now is I just want to get it out. Also, I'm saving this so that, and I'm going to save this on his web, and I want to take a copy of this U-type space total crap, just to make sure that it doesn't get deleted off the internet, because the dogging site called the Secret Garden, that got taken off within minutes. Now, it happened. A lot of people saw it because I showed it to a few people. A lot of people made comments on it and stuff, or enough people. It's not like it's in my imagination. But yeah, it was very strange, that was, and considering there wasn't loads of videos on that particular web channel, there's 2 or 3, it was very creepy. Anyway, so I've been Tom Carhill. It's Wednesday the 8th of October 2014. I'd like to know what you think, and also I'd like to know anything else you've seen that he said or done which gives you any, in his defence or against him, because as I said, I've got to be very clear. He is a creepy, suspect, not quite in his right mind type character. There's no question. There's a lot of low energy coming off him. If you hear his voice on that video, which I didn't put on because you couldn't hear him very well, but he was in absolute torment, just like when he's talking about the police coming around the last time. He is in a complete mess. He is being taken advantage of, but that doesn't mean he's bad. Just like the Brian Gerrish, Roger Hayes situation. Roger Hayes is a disgusting individual, but he's like your toilet paper, dirty toilet paper option, right? Brian Gerrish can hang him out to dry whenever he wants because he's got so many personality disorders. He's pissed so many people off that it's impossible for anybody to not hate him. So he's disposable. He's disposable. That's the same with Spivey. Obviously, he has basically been disposed of now. But the thing is, we've got to try and compact all the other like pieces of shit together, yeah? And we want all the silage in the cesspit or in the back of the silage wagon and off to the what do you call it? I've even worked in them before. So what are they called? The place where all the sewage works. That's where we want it. We want it all compacted and there at the same time. So we want Michael Dougherty, we want Bill Maloney, we want Ian Puddick, we want Ian Puddick's good friend Fiona Wolf, who's a fellow honourable, worshipful master of plumbery or whatever. She's one of the plumbers companies in the livery guilds in the City of London, and all the other people who come along with it. We want them all in there. Obviously, the new lady, what's her name? Danielle George, also known as Chloe George, also known as Lady Della. Lady Della. She's also known as Chloe George's mum. She's known as lots of things, that lady is. Again, another complete scumbag and charlatan who's got absolutely nothing going for her. And if you pay a bit of proper attention to her in a kind of, intrigued manner, you find that if there's nothing good there, it's all bad. And then you get rid of all the other scum who hang around them. All of these people who are profiteering off the Jewish subversive agenda of promoting paedophilia and putting panic and fear into the hearts of anybody who watches them. And obviously it helps destroy families. It makes people scared for their children to walk out of their house. It makes them scared to have anyone who's interested in their children to say hello to them because they'll be saying that they're a pedo. It's absolutely disgusting. It's anti-human. If you leave the UK for the shortest amount of time, you start realising that, with the exception of a place like Germany where it's exactly the same, normal countries, that's not normal. As you see a little kid, people go up to them, start roughing their hair up, picking them up, like tickling them, giving them minor torture. It's normal. They order them around if they're doing something wrong, they don't even know the little kid. That's normal. That's human history. It's been like that for possibly millions of years. We don't know how far it goes back. The Jews are trying to fuck this around, and they're trying to make everyone scared of pedos that don't exist, whilst ignoring pedos that do exist, whilst endorsing Jewish crimes. Again, all the creepy stuff that they're up to. Spivey is right in the middle of it, banning freedom of speech, making people too paranoid to be journalists because they think Spivey is a journalist, whereas he's just somebody who just says things which he's got absolutely no evidence for on numerous occasions, ever more so more recently, which spelled his inevitable decline. Well, anyway, as I said, I've been Tom Cahill. It's Wednesday, the 8th of October 2014. I'd like to hear what you have to say in his defence or against him in support of what, along the lines of what I've been saying. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.